Hi, everyone. This is Lucas from QiqoChat. I'm on with Claire Murray from the Association Resource Center, which is an association management company. And the purpose of today's call is to share some info for those in the association world who are new to QiqoChat to show how it's possible to build a great event. And I've asked Claire to drop in for an interview because I was impressed with what she did. It was the first time she had used Kiko and wanted to see what she could share with everyone else who might be on the same path. So Claire, welcome. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us what you did?
Yes, so my name is Claire. I work with Association Resource Center. We are an AMC based out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And my coworker discovered QiqoChat, and we just set up a couple of meetings with Lucas. Figured that this could meet the needs of the meeting that we were hosting. Um, it was a healthcare related meeting, and it was a 2-day meeting that on the first day we had 4 different concurrent large group sessions going on, and then also a couple just smaller breakout sessions. And then on Saturday, we came together just for a large global session, just with all the attendees. So Friday was the hardest part, not hard, but just the most complex day with lots going on rather than just one global session. But yeah, so that was back, I believe, November 5th and 6th. And we received great feedback from the attendees. And Lucas is always available, just a phone call away if you have any help, which was always really helpful. And it was really nice to be able to design the event at whatever time you needed to. There were definitely some times where at odd hours of the night we needed to make some changes or whatnot. So it was really helpful to be able to go in on your own time and make changes whenever we needed to. Yeah.
Great, Claire. What would you describe as the purpose of the event? This was an association or a society that was gathering its members together?
Yes, it was a society that was gathering their members together for an annual meeting. It's the one time that they meet out of the year. And it's typically a heavily networking based meeting, but we made some shifts this year to make it a little, change the style a bit to a more like lecture style, um, with some small breakout groups as well to try to get some interactivity in there.
Great. Would you like to show us what you built?
Yes, I would. So here I'm sharing my screen. Um, and so this is our event homepage. So actually I'll start back here on our RSVP page. So we had our event set up to where QiqoChat would send on the back end, we inputted just each of the individual email addresses of each of our registrants and each of our faculty or speakers, and it would take them to this page. And then they just select enter the event. And I'll just go back here as well. We also just had like a little info document that we put together of questions that kind of we ran into along the way in the planning process that we thought would be helpful just to really dumb down the instructions for people, although it is an overall pretty simple platform to use. We just like to make things oversimplified since everyone's technology skills are a bit different. So yeah, just with some screenshots and some instructions. And then, so up here, so this is how people access the event. So this was our homepage, and we just linked the brochure here, which in our case is just kind of the agenda and the list of all the program faculty. And then we also had copy of the agenda. And then I mentioned earlier that we had 4 different concurrent sessions going on the Friday of the meeting. So in each of these main rooms, we were able to link like their own agendas, which was nice. So we could do any different document. I believe we found that the PDF works the best to link here, but you could also link websites as well.
Great. And
so yeah, and then
when people arrive here,
yeah,
they browse the schedule, and then at the top left, we have the video is currently off, but it's because the event is over. So then they would click join video, and you had it connected to Zoom at the top left?
Yes, we had it connected to Zoom. We did for the 4 the 4 concurrent sessions that were going on Friday, we did hook in our own webinar links. But for some of these smaller breakout rooms, we just utilize the QiqoChat Zoom meeting license for right here. But it's very easy to use your own meeting links, or it's even easier to use QiqoChat's pre-made meeting links. We just wanted to use a webinar for the room, so that would be the only reason why I would think that you would hook in your own.
Super.
But yeah, so it was quite easy.
So Claire, this looks very well designed. How many
tried to
people?
oversimplify it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. How many
No
people
worries.
helped you put this together? It looks like there was someone with some design skills. You were managing the back end. What did your team look like?
Yeah, that's a great question. So for a lot of the pre-meeting materials, like the agenda and the brochure that I was showing on the first page, we have like an in-house graphic designer that helps design these PDFs. And then we also, for this icon right here, it's actually just one photo, kind of hard to see here, but this was just designed in Canva by me, which is a free
Oh, nice.
graphic design platform, I guess. So yeah, I just utilized Canva. But in terms of my team, it was myself and my coworker Andrew and my coworker Juliana. So it was a team of 3. I handled most of the aspects of this event, but they helped me in tandem with a lot of things. But yeah, we really do just rely on our graphic designer for designing like our agendas and whatnot. But aside from that, so I guess, yeah, a total of 4, but for the most part, a team of 3.
Well done. Well, I'll have to check out Canva myself. It looks great what you put together on the left-hand side. So what went well, and what would you like to see done differently next time?
Yeah, I made a couple notes, so I'm just gonna make that a little smaller. What went well? Quite a few things. So the seamless integration with Zoom was really a huge part for us. This specific group relied on Zoom for a lot of their virtual events throughout the pandemic. And it was helpful just to have something that was so familiar to them available, especially just with the click of a button. It's set up to where you literally just click to join video, and it opens up Zoom, which is really nice just to not have to go through the pretty much training process with even the attendees. So it was awesome to have something so familiar with them. We ended up doing this at the last minute. But in the future, if I were to do this again, I would give all of the meeting faculty like the direct Zoom links to their session rather than having them come in through Kiko, specifically with the webinars, which were the Zoom licenses of our own. So it's not necessarily even an issue with Kiko. But we just learned throughout the process that when they click to join, when the speakers would click to join video, they don't actually come into the webinar as a panelist, even if they are listed as a panelist on the back end. So we discovered that kind of early on, but we're just kind of figuring out how we should navigate it. So we ended up just last minute sending each of the presenters like the direct link to their Zoom session. So in the future, I think I would lead with doing that, and then also provide them with separate instructions to, if they wanted to participate in other aspects of the meeting, how to use Kiko, rather than trying to, because I did like a 20-minute like training with each of the speakers just to kind of show them the platform and whatnot. So I was kind of bummed when I had to like pretty much scratch what I had taught them and send them just like the direct link. But so in the future, I would just provide them with a direct Zoom link to get to their session as a panelist, and then also provide them with instructions to just participate in the rest of the meeting as an attendee through Kiko.
That's a great insight.
Yeah.
Most folks are using Zoom meetings on Kiko, so we weren't aware of that, and that's a great improvement. So thanks for sharing that.
Okay. Of course. As I know. Sorry, go ahead.
No, there was a lag. I'm sorry. After you, please.
No worries. Yeah, I remember when we started the initial conversation with starting Kiko, you mentioned that it's more of like a networking platform, which I can totally see where the kinks with webinar may have not been worked out yet. So not a problem at all. And it really wasn't even a problem. So.
And was there any space for networking in the event, or did participants find that there was enough interaction in the sessions and connecting over Zoom chat, or did they need anything else, want anything else? Did you experiment with any sort of networking spaces?
That some of the feedback we did receive was that there wasn't enough opportunities for networking. But that was also just on like the planning team's end as well. We had some breakout rooms that offered like two specifically. We had like a couple different breakout rooms that offered like interactivity where you could, it was called like a meet and greet. So you could chat with different, it's an anesthesia based society. So you could chat with like new program directors or senior program directors. So we got great feedback from those couple interactive sessions, but we did definitely get some pushback that there was a wish for more interactivity, which is definitely doable. We could have added into the agenda a couple more different like interactive breakouts and easily had those on Kiko. So we did get some pushback, but there was definitely an easy way we could have fixed that.
Good. Well, that's a lesson learned for us too. I think that we can help you with more of an event design checklist of when you're hosting your first event. Here's some other things to consider. One more tool that we've been recommending is a tool called Spatial Chat, which it's the networking happens where you move yourself as this circle over to these other circles, and you can speak with anyone you're close to, and then you can move yourself over here, kind of like you're moving around a hallway. So that's one that we often recommend.
Awesome.
And it can fit right into the web page. So good complement to Zoom and the fixed nature of Zoom video chats. So
that does sound like it could have solved it for sure.
So, and then you had a very large number of people, as it seemed like almost 800 people registering for this event. Were there any surprises or any tech challenges that seemed unusually, some surprises that you didn't expect, things that were more difficult than you would have hoped they'd be, anything like that that you'd want to let other people know about next time to prepare themselves?
Right. So the day of the event, everything went seamless. It was great. We had one help from Lucas on the day of. And then also we had like we made one of the rooms like a designated tech help room. So if anyone was having trouble, they could just hop into that room and chat with one of our staff members. So on the day of, stuff went seamless. It was awesome. There is just pretty much one main thing that we kind of wish we could have changed throughout the planning process. And that is just the ability to send people their personalized link to join the event. So in our case, it's important for us to be able to keep that this specific type of event closed and off of like the public facing side of Kiko, if that makes sense. So the ability for us to send people like their own link to join is pretty important, which Kiko does have that ability. But most of the groups that we work with are in the healthcare field. And so just many of these organizations have like super strict firewall, which more often than not, the message. So for those that probably have no idea what I'm talking about, on the back end of QiqoChat, you can input a list of those that have registered for the event. And then you can customize the message that you want to send to them along with their link. And then QiqoChat does their part of sending them their own personalized link from, I can't remember what the address was, but something at QiqoChat.com. Notifications.
Yes, that's right.
Is what it is. Notifications at QiqoChat.com. So it sends each of the registrants that you enter in on the back end, it sends them an email with instructions to join the event and a link, and you can customize the message. So it's set up really great. But just that was the only issue that we ran into, was that more often than not, we had to kind of troubleshoot how to get them their specific link on our own. And whenever someone had that specific issue, what we did is we just put together, Lucas has this feature set up where you can request direct Zoom links for each of your rooms that you have set up to be sent to you. So if someone's having trouble getting onto actual QiqoChat, they can just navigate directly into that specific Zoom session. So we just put together one of the documents that I was sharing earlier that our graphic designer put together. He just like kind of added buttons to the agenda, and behind each of those buttons was the links that Lucas provided us with. So whenever someone had an issue or couldn't like sometimes there were instances where they couldn't find that email just in any folder, like spam, junk. And again, that is just because of like firewall issues, just with different, like we're talking like hospitals or like colleges. So just having the ability to be for us to be able to somehow have like a database or like a list with each of the attendees personalized links, I think would have been really helpful for us. It was just an extra step to have to send someone that
Mhm.
document each time they were having an issue, but it was definitely doable. And most of that was just on like the day of, and we had like a team, we were prepared and we had a team that like could help us do that. But just I think that would have been the one thing that would have made it like extremely helpful. But that was, in all honesty, that was really the only notable hiccup we had. Um, and other than that, it went quite seamless.
Very
So yeah,
good.
that would be really the only change I'd like to see in the software.
And we've got, based on your feedback, because we asked you what happened and what went well, what could have been improved. And you had mentioned this after your event. And recently we just built this feature. And I'd love to test it on anyone that had difficulty getting an email from us, where they send
Oh,
a
awesome.
blank email to reset@QiqoChat.com, and it should send their personalized link to them directly. And I'm hoping that that gets right through their spam folder, since we're replying to them. So maybe that's something
Oh,
that we can
that's
test
awesome.
after this interview, and hopefully that would even solve the problem and you wouldn't have to do the work of finding a personalized link. But thank you very much for
Right.
this open, honest conversation. That's how we get better at
Yeah,
QiqoChat.
of course.
Congrats on hosting a very large event, which sounds like it was very well received. I was impressed by your team. It was very clean the way you put it together. You asked very little of me, which was great, because you picked it up so quickly. So congrats, Claire. Thanks for coming on the show, and we
Yeah.
really appreciate your time and look forward to seeing you on a future QiqoChat event.
Yes. Thank you, Lucas.
Bye.